incredible to see. I don't think I've ever seen a game so good get crapped on so much. What it is I just find it's these people that don't really understand games, like, or really, to some degree, I would say life in general. They don't understand life in general. They think that I guess it's weird though, because I don't think the Dark Souls community is generally a lot of really young people. Like, I know a lot of people, when I've seen them talk about their age, they're like definitely been adults for a while, so they're people that I would expect that have some sort of life experience type thing. But like, people don't seem to get when being perfect is not a necessarily a complaint that is all that worth is necessarily all that meaningful or worth all that discussion about, or as some kind of like breakthrough, like what would you call that, like there's classic Dark Souls 3. I can't see anything. I can't see anything. There's just this blob in front of my face. I can't see anything. I don't even know what I'm being attacked by. I don't even know what the hitbox is. It's just a big blob that I can't even see. Garbage. I do not like that enemy at all. The fact that they make you fight him so early in the game is super cheap too. That's another thing. But yeah, these people, they don't seem to understand. Yeah, I got a large shard there. Those guys can drop chunks too, I think. But people don't seem to understand that perfect, not being perfect is some sort of major, proof of a game not being good. But, like, I mean, that applies to a lot of things in life too. Like, not that I really care about getting into all that kind of stuff, but it just sort of shows like a ignorance, I would say. I don't like saying a lot of things about people like, most of the time when I'm talking when I'm playing, I'm being fairly lighthearted about things. It's not necessarily my absolute heart of hearts meaningful opinion, but sometimes it is. But sometimes I'm just kind of goofing around, or just kind of being hyperbolic. But it's just kind of ignorance of, like, if you've known people that have been married and stuff like that, they'll talk about how not being perfect, like, that's sort of some of the charm sometimes. I mean, I don't even know why I'm bringing, it's not really that much of a connection to Dark Souls 2, but I mean, it's all sorts of things though, like or sports is another thing, like not being perfect. Like, people always say, like, there'll be some wild thing that happens in some game, and then people will say, oh, well, they didn't do this right, or didn't do that right. But you know what? All those mistakes they made for a good game. And, when you have a perfect game, like, you want to watch a perfect game, you want to watch, like, a perfect, like, soccer game, or football game, or whatever kind of sport you're in, you know what you're going to watch? You're going to watch a boring, defensive, nothing happening game. Because that's what perfect is in sports, is, like, exemplary defense, and nothing happens. but it's like the same with Dark Souls 2. It's like these people point out, oh well, here's a flaw, as if that's some sort of negates all the good things of the game. No, that's not the way it works, and it's really just ignorance to think that way. That's not, and I'm not necessarily, at the same time though, I'm not necessarily saying that people that make a complaint about that game, or any game, are have that intention. But there does definitely seem to be these people that sort of, with glee, point out this problem or bug or issue with the game, as if like they're like the super genius come to tell everybody how things are. But it's like, yeah, you know what? That thing is in the game, and it's really not that big of an issue. That's another thing. That's what I would say that maybe the biggest thing I noticed with Dark Souls 2 is everything was a catastrophe. Every complaint was this major thing. It's like, oh, this tiny little thing happened. Like, the disappearing enemies when you kill them too much. Or kill them a certain, like, 12 times or whatever it was. Like, that is the most minor thing. Like, how many times does that even affect you in the game? I played through the game several times, and the amount of times that made, like, any difference whatsoever was minimal. Very minimal. And not only that, but you can bring them back with the Company of Champions. So it's not, you're not even stuck with that. So it couldn't be more of a nothing issue. Like, you'd have a hard time finding more of a nothing issue than that. But, oh, with the Dark Souls 2 haters, incredible, huge issue. I know, that's the thing that really set me off, is like it was going along good. Like, you had your Demon Souls and people had fun with that. You had your Dark Souls, people had fun. It seemed like the community, like, there would get heated discussions, but it would be about like the style of the game and stuff. Like do you want like level select like Demon Soul, or do you want a whole entire world like Dark Souls where it's all connected? Or you'd have talk about difficulty and, oh, was this boss tough enough, and the PvP and stuff like that. And then Dark Souls 2 turned a bunch of people, or when Dark Souls 2 came out, a bunch of people turned into a bunch of whiners and just whining and complaining about it. And then it's hard not to like, they're amplifying and sort of maximizing any little tiny little thing they can whine about, and you hear these people whine about it over and over and over, and it starts to pop into your head. It doesn't make me agree with them, but it comes up in your head when that encounter comes up. And then you see it happen in other games. It's like, well, why are you complaining about it so much in Dark Souls 2? The same thing is happening in Bloodborne, and no complaints. Like, if people went at Bloodborne like they went at Dark Souls 2, all you would hear is Chalice dungeons are garbage. Every single time Bloodborne is brought up, it would just be Chalice dungeons are garbage. Game failed. Or, there's no builds. It's just all melee. Oh man, that was a mistake. Wow, this guy, he doesn't stun very easy. Oh, there's one of those bomb things or whatever it is. Although this guy shouldn't stun easy, I don't have a problem with that. He's a big armored guy. What? Oh, yes, I got the... Cathedral Knight. Not many chunks. But yeah, okay, so I got the Ring of Sacrifice anyway from that corner. It's just so annoying. It's whiners kind of ruined... Well, I wouldn't say they ruined the community, but they really put a stench into it. They stenched it up with their smell. It just seemed like that... It just seemed like discussion was so much better before with Dark Souls. I mean, other than maybe PvP, kinda... That would kind of go in the toilet a bit, but... Like, there's a lot of... I remember so many interesting discussions about the level design of Dark Souls 1, and... Just... You know, it's disappointing. And the other thing I don't get is... Speaking of people whining, is, these people whining about the difficulty of Dark Souls, yet they won't challenge themselves. Like, what are you scared of? Like, I don't care, like if you want to play Dark Souls as level 900 and one-shot everything, I don't care, play however you want. But if you're going to constantly be whining that everything's too easy and you're the super god of Dark Souls, blah blah blah, well then add a little challenge to yourself. Like, quit being the massive chicken of all chickens. Like, if you want to play easy, as easy as possible and do whatever, fine, I don't care, do whatever you want. But if you're going to constantly whine about how easy the game is, then challenge yourself. Step up, stop being a massive chicken, like, at minimum. Like, anybody of these people who's complaining about it being too easy, if you aren't playing Soul Level 1, no weapon upgrades, then what are you doing? Like, you should be first time when Dark Souls 4 comes out, or Bloodborne 2, or whatever the next game is, you start, you do not upgrade your weapon, you do not level up, and you beat the game like that. There's your challenge. Or at least more of a challenge. Maybe that's too easy too, I don't know, but at least that's more of a challenge. At least you try. You can say you tried. But when you just build your character up into this powerful character when you're complaining about the game's too easy, like, what? Okay. So 2 human pine resin. 1 titanite chunk. I was disappointed with Blood. I thought there'd be a bunch of people playing Soul Level 1 blind on Bloodborne. These people complaining about the games are too easy. It's like it's all talk. It's, oh, this game's too easy, but I'm terrified to make it any harder. Okay, whiner, whatever. This is so annoying, this stupid poison. Dark gem. Chunk. More slugs. What? There's this more retread. This is just Blight Town slugs again. Like, why retread?